So in our previous discussion, we actually have started from here. I have told you in details about the drug formulation and other details. Then I have mentioned you that what are the stages in drug discovery and drug development. Then I have told you what are the common challenges in drug development. That is the reasons why usually we fail in drug development. Then I have told you what are the major challenges in drug delivery. Okay, and lastly, from today, I would like to discuss from novel drug delivery system. So, novel drug delivery system. Before starting the actual content, let me just tell you from the basics. So, you can see if this is your tablet, and if you zoom it, if you further zoom it at least for 10,100,000 times, then you will be able to see one molecule like this. So ultimately, this molecule is actually responsible for the therapeutic activity. Now, to deliver this molecule, you are trying to you actually take the help of any drug delivery system. For example, I have given a very wonderful picture here. So by using these blood vessels, you are actually delivering this molecule. And after this molecule actually reach at the site of action, then it will bind with a certain protein. And after the proper binding and proper the stable complex drug protein complex, it actually shows therapeutic activity. So for our understanding, for our subject, we are actually focusing here, that is drug delivery systems. So all of you are aware that there are two that is a methodology or two different way you can deliver drug, or we can classify the drug delivery system into two way. One is the conventional drug delivery system and another is the novel drug delivery carriers. So the problem is that in conventional drug delivery you need high dosage frequency regime, then poor patient compliance, then rapid drug resistance, including poor patient adherence to conventional therapy, then chances of therapeutic or therapy failure, then high drug that is related of toxicities, then painful for IV formulation, for formulation, it is very painful. Then there are chances it might be very expensive. If you are aware, recently I have mentioned with you people, there is one disease called spinal muscular atrophy. For that disease, you know what is the price of a single dose? 16 crore.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Uh, and including the discomfort to take high dose at the time at a time of the patients. These are the major limitations of our conventional that is drug delivery. That's why we are trying to take the help of the novel drug delivery carriers. What are the advantages? Shortened frequency of the regime, then higher patient compliance, then prevented the drug resistance using novel fixed dose combination therapy. Okay, for example, any bacterial disease, you know, lots of antibiotics, they are right now not working properly. Okay, because of the drug resistance. That's why we can take help of NADS, where we are actually giving the combination therapy. We have one antibiotic, we have another antibiotic. We are combine both the things, and we have some formulation system so that we are actually delivering this drug, and it is showing very good results. If I say more, high level of patient adherence to novel drug delivery therapies, then mitigated therapy failure, including reduced drug-related toxicities or targeting delivery using ligand. In my previous lecture, I have told you why a lots of drug actually get failed because of the toxicity. है ना? And last, improved, that is a drug efficacy. If I tell you more in detail, in my previous lecture, that is basically offline lecture, I have tried to show you these things. So, in conventional drug delivery, you will be getting these kinds of curve. Okay, these kinds of curve. If you take a drug molecule and if you see the concentration in blood, after some time you will be observing that the concentration actually getting reduced. But in our NDDS or novel drug delivery systems, you will be able to get a steady state or steady drug concentration. It means you can see the duration of action will be longer. Here you can see it will be very small in conventional. Then if I tell you more, in our sustained release or our NDDS related drug delivery system, you will have no need to take the that is more and more that is doses. Okay, in common drug delivery, in conventional drug delivery system, for example, this you can see. Okay, suddenly it is rising and then it is falling. Suddenly the concentration of drug is rising and then it is falling. So in such cases, you have to take a lots of doses. But in sustained release, you have no need to take too much doses. Okay. Now let me tell you. So, for example, what are the molecules or what are the things we actually deliver? We are actually delivering small molecules, protein, antibodies, nucleic acid, or live cells. What are the challenges? Already in my previous lecture, I have tried to give you some basic understanding, but today I have to tell you in detail. Okay, for example, small molecules, ibuprofen, paracetamol, cetirizine, such kind of small molecule. In those cases, we have problem like controlling thermokinetic properties, then solubility issue, permeability issue, then drug development and toxicity. Okay, yesterday some people were there with me in lab. I think all of you are aware. I have discussed about this thing, how solubility and permeability will play a big role. In case of protein, I think many of you are aware that is, for example, plasma therapy or various kinds of protein-based therapy. Nutraceuticals, we are actually giving some lots of protein. Protein or peptides are actually slightly bigger from your small molecules. What are the problems? Problem is almost same, like controlling the pharmacokinetic property, that is ADME, then its stability. It's a very big issue. Peptides are actually going to bind everywhere. Okay, so stability is a very big issue. And then it's non-invasive administration. You cannot take orally everything. Then bypass biological barrier and including the reducing immunogenicity, because your immune system, various cells, immune cells, they will think that particular molecule as a foreign substance. Okay, so another thing is that improving target specificity. So these are some challenges. If I tell you antibodies, the bigger challenge is, again, you can see pharmacokinetic property, then stability, and you can see almost similar with the protein or peptide, because antibodies are also one kind of protein. Okay, and the differences in the achieving high doses. If I tell you about the nucleic acid, because recently you have seen there are lots of nucleic acid based vaccines like mRNA vaccines. So if you deliver that thing, it has to be reach at the site of action. It has to be reach at the in our immune system so that antibodies can be generated. I am talking in the context of the mRNA vaccines. So the problem is almost, you can see, similar thermokinetic, stability, bypassing all those things, and including preventing off-target gene editing. Another issue. And if we give you some live cells in certain diseases, so the problem is again pharmacokinetic, in vivo persistence, viability, then reducing immunogenicity, maintaining therapeutic cell phenotype, and targeting the disease location. And in some of the cases, manufacturing and scale up. It is not easy to develop or manufacture live cells. So these are the various certain substances which actually we deliver in our body for to get some therapeutic action. And these are the challenges. Now, to solve the challenges, what do we do? We actually take the help of NDDS, but how? We are actually taking the help of NDDS either some by changing some functional group modification. Okay, but in every cases it will not work. In every cases, the functional group modification will not work. Okay, then you can take the help of the pegylation. Okay, so you can take the help of the polymers, or you can take, if it is antibody, so you can change in a certain way, and you can make the antibody immunization, or either you can change some amino acids in that particular substance, or you can make the targeting ligand conjugation, or otherwise simulation and differentiation. You can do a lot of simulation and check how it is working in the biological system, and you can make some differentiation. Or otherwise, if you are giving the biologics, that is live cell or nucleic acid or protein, so in that case you can do genetic engineering. Okay, or otherwise you can make some environmental modification like pH modification, then permission enhancement you can add, or endosomal escape, or dispersion enhancer, or inhibition of the drug clearance, or otherwise normalization of the environment. But this is a very challenging. We actually do not recommend. We are actually maximum time, as we are actually studying for that is pharmacy. Maximum time we actually take the help of these things. functional group modification or pegylation. Or if it is biologic, in that case we can take the help of the other things. But if possible, then we can take the help of the pH modification. But there are very less amount of such kind of research is available where they are actually using environmental modification. Now, after making all such changes in etc., so you have to ultimately make possible your drug may reach at the satisfaction. For that, you need the delivery. You can make the microneedle patch. Okay, or you can make the macro particle depot or transdermal patch or microparticulate system or coated microparticle or nanoparticle, and very important, lipid based nanoparticle. I will tell you more, don't worry. These names might be new or for you people. I will tell in detail about all those things. Then very favorite, very interesting, and my favorite, nanoparticle, or various kinds of IoT device and antibody drug conjugate, controlled release implant, inhalable devices, microencapsulation, cell targeting, or otherwise you can make polymeric film, then injectable device or pH responsive capsule or own dressing or drug loaded contact lens, or otherwise you can make the soluble hydrogel. So presently at 21st century, these are all the kinds of the delivery systems available. Okay, so that's why our this field actually rising, and if you study this subject very carefully and if you become a FND scientist, there is one field called FND, formulation and development. If you become a FND scientist, you can make your own venture, or you can join lots of pharmaceutical companies, and this field, this kinds of activity, that is NDDS, it is actually rising. Here is the picture in NDDS where you can see that maximum of the area is coming under the oral drug delivery system. So you have to understand that the entire world is so much happy with oral drug delivery system. Means if you have a drug molecule, it is working very nicely. You have to change, you have to modify its that thing in such a way so that you can give the drug molecule orally. But yes, other field is also that is gaining popularity, like injectable, or you can see the pulmonary or transdermal, or other things are also popular. But the most popular thing is our oral drug delivery system. Now, after discussing all those things, what we are going to learn in our upcoming days. So the thing or the topics or the points are now present in your screen, like controlled release, microencapsulation, mucosal, implantable, transdermal, gastrodentive, nasopulmonary, targeted drug delivery, ocular, or your IOD device. These things are actually we are going to learn in our upcoming days. So today, after listening my next discussion, your entire concept, your entire this will be a summary. In next whatever I am going to tell you, this will be a summary of entire NDDS. Okay, so if you learn about all the 10 or 11 topics, your entire NDDS topic will be completed, and you can also make your own understanding, or you can also make further modification in existing drugs. In my previous lectures, I have mentioned that there are lots of drugs which are available in BCS class 4. Okay, BCS class 4. So in BCS class 4, the drugs, these drugs will be not show proper solubility and permeability. So you can use any of these such that is delivery system, and you can make it to BCS class 1 so that you can give it orally, and it will be a very great success. Okay, scientists are actually doing their best because there are huge amounts of drugs, and the number of scientists in this field or in our world, they are very limited. So that's why you should become a scientist. You should work on this field, and you should try to develop new formulation. And yes, you will be getting patent for 20 years, and you will be able to get the royalty. You know, recently DRDO, they have developed one that is a drug molecule for COVID-19. 2DG. बताओ फिर बताओ क्या होगा? 2DG. Okay. The name of the drug is 2DG. And Abhishek was absolutely correct. It is actually marketed by Dr. Reddy's. And Dr. Reddy's is actually getting 2% of royalty. Dr. Reddy's is getting 2% royalty. Okay, whatever the drug molecule will be that is going to sold in market, Dr. Reddy's will be getting 2% commission from that. So that's why you should discover new drug molecule, or even that is develop new that is formulations. Okay, now let me tell you one by one what is controlled release drug delivery system. So in my previous slide you have seen that what are the advantages of controlled release and why we're actually doing. Now let me tell you about the various types. You can make a controlled release drug delivery system either dissolution control, or you can make the dissolution diffusion control, or you can make only diffusion control. Okay, there might be one reservoir system and it will be connected with your hybrid, or it will be in associated with the hybrid system with the matrix. It will either matrix or reservoir. Okay, or it might be hybrid of both the things. In reservoir system, there will be a membrane. Okay, it might be soluble film or non-soluble film. Or if it is a matrix system, if it is a matrix of certain drugs, for example, like this, if it is a matrix, if it is a matrix system, there will be hydrophilic or hydrophobic. Again, soluble or soluble or adorable. So it may be free soluble or restrict swelling. Or if it is hydrophobic, it will be again soluble or insoluble. Or there will be chances of pore or non-pore. If it is non-porous, then dissolved drug or dispersed drug. I will tell you more in detail about the controlled release when I'm going to discuss the particular topic as a part of the unit. Okay, today you just understand that how this is actually associated with our big field. Now let me tell you, I want to show you on video that how controlled release system is actually working.
22% of the
You may see this video.
total methylphenidate dose. When the tablet is swallowed, this drug overcoat dissolves quickly, giving a rapid initial release of the drug, similar to standard immediate release formulations. Beneath the drug overcoat is a semi-permeable membrane that absorbs water by osmosis at a controlled rate. The interior of the tablet is divided into 3 compartments. As water is absorbed, the push compartment expands. Methylphenidate is pushed out of the first low concentration compartment through a precisely engineered laser drilled hole.
You see, drug is getting released from here. Okay, in a very controlled manner. Just see that.
As more water is absorbed, some of the drug in the low concentration compartment mixes with the drug in the second high concentration compartment. So around midday, after a morning dose, methylphenidate is released at intermediate concentrations. Finally, the drug from the high concentration compartment is released at a controlled rate. So, looking at the plasma concentration, the initial release from the outer coat causes a rapid rise in the plasma level, ensuring quick onset of action. This level is maintained by release from the first low concentration compartment. And as the concentration of drug released rises, so does the plasma concentration. The ascending pharmacokinetic profile of Concerta XL comes close to that of the ideal.
Can you imagine? Just a second.
We saw earlier.
Can you imagine? Here we are actually getting almost 12 hours. 12 hours of its that is almost, I can say that its concentration. It is not completely steady states, but we are getting 12 hours like as its duration of action. So it is very good. In 24 hours you have to take only 2 doses. Okay, so you can imagine that how very nicely this is actually working. Okay, so this is your tablet and there are lots of compartments. As long as it is actually absorbing your that is water, and it is actually releasing the drug molecule, and one by one it will actually get released, and you can get a long duration of action with a very good concentration. Okay, that's why this field is actually emerging. So if I tell you more about the controlled release, this is not a very new concept. In 2021 we're actually learning these things, and you'll be so much happy to or amused to know that it is actually very old concepts. Okay, it was started from 1950. Those days it was very simple. It is a very basic control release system. Oral delivery they used to take like tablet syrup or transdermal other things, and they used to take very basics like osmosis or diffusion based some changes. In second generation, that is after 1980, they got the zero order release or zero order versus first order release, and they also have started the using of the polymer or hydrogel, etc., etc. Then in peptide or protein delivery, they started use the biodegradable depot and the introduction of the nanoparticle for tumor or cancer related drug delivery or gene delivery, because it is very difficult to deliver the drugs in such area where cancerous cells are actually available. Okay, that's why the nanoparticle introduced, and in third generation, that is after 2010, in third generation we actually use the off on insulin release, like your glucose sensitive release, targeted delivery like SAR and other things, or long term delivery system. Okay, so this field is actually emerging. I have another video. Let me again play this video. This is a very interesting video. You'll be able to see that how a tablet, a capsule you're consuming, and how it is actually get released. You must see. This is a simple capsule you have taken. It is very easy to take. It's reached in your GIT, and you can see due to acidic environment, its outer shell actually get dissolved. Now you have that substance. From that it will be written here, written in Syria. From that it will be here polymerase. From that drug will be released. You can see 2 hours, 3 hours, and continuously it will be written here. That's why we call it capsule. 3 hours. And ultimately after releasing the entire drug, you will also get decayed. At least you get decayed till our okay. That's why it's very popular. Intech Pharma is actually developing these things. So this is something about the controlled release drug delivery system. Now let me tell you the second thing called microencapsulation. This is also a very interesting area or interesting way of drug delivery system, where actually making some coating. If we have some material or drug or substance, where actually this will be our core, okay, core material, our drug, then we are actually giving some coat here. So when this particular substance will go to your that is GIT, so what will happen? First, layer by layer, all the substance will be get reduced, and then your drug will be get released. These are some pictures of microencapsulations. If I tell you more, mucosal drug delivery. In mucosal drug delivery, so what do we do? So for example, the challenges is the biological therapy or alternative we have to take. So we are actually using the such kind of polymer or other substance. So what actually happened? So in mucosal area, we are actually putting our that anti-delivery that is arrangement, and in our this thing called mucosal area, when it will come to our contact with our blood vessels and other things, slowly and slowly it will be get released. So delivery in the mucosal diseases, it is very much useful. Also rapid systematic delivery. I will tell you more in detail when I will teach this particular topic, and here you can see. So first we are going to add here that in your mucosal area in your mouth. For example, you can see in your mouth cavity you have attached that substance, and here you have all this arrangement when it will come to the contact with your blood vessels, and due to the presence of the various kinds of the salivary substances, your drug will be get released. Okay. Now another thing, implantable drug delivery system. What we are doing here? Here we will be having one drug reservoir. You can see this is the drug reservoir. Here is power supply also, and actuator, nanopores, etc., etc. Everything is present here. So drug reservoir, from here your drug will be get actually released. Here biosensor is also attached, because in real time you have to monitor that how much drug is actually being released. Okay, so in implantable drug delivery system, we are actually using for various kinds of diseases where we have to monitor in real time that how much drug is actually present in our plasma membrane. Okay, if I tell you more, the transdermal patches and transdermal other kinds of thing are nowadays becoming very popular, because there are lots of wearable transdermal delivery. So one is your that is a that is a mechano-responsive delivery system, or you have electrically activated delivery skins, or you have this thing called bioresponsive delivery system, or you have in light responsive, okay, delivery carrier. So in this case, for example, it will be for example, this is your skin, and your stretching is happening here, and this is the device. So when stretching is happening, there are some pores are actually getting ready to consume the drug, and your this drug is actually released. Electrically activated means there are some circuit will be there. Okay, some circuit. This will be not dangerous for our body, because the electric amount is very negligible. So because of the electric circuit, some force will be created and your drug will be get released. And in bioresponsive, because it is happening because of the bioreaction, like your pH, glucose, and hypoxia. Because of the presence of such things, your drug is actually released in your skin. And in light, this is because of the presence of the light. Okay, transdermal. So I have another. So I have another picture. You can see this is the next generation delivery system of the transdermal. You can see you can monitor, or you can deliver in the real time by using Bluetooth communication with the mobile. Okay, so for example, this is your the patch. This is the skin you have attached here. Here, ion and other all the arrangement is actually present. Here you can see yeah, some heater will be there. Some heater will be there. It will create some heat. Due to heat, drug release will be happening here. Okay, you can also check in real time that how much it is actually get released. You have patch, substrate, pH sensor, hydrogel, and including the wound region. If any kinds of wound is actually happen in the patient's body, so you can take the help of these things, because it will release the drug in a very controlled and systematic way, so that you can get the long duration of action. And whatever the amount of drug is required locally, only that amount of drug will be remain here. So after discussing the transdermal, let me take to you about the gastroretentive. So all of you might have listened that one is the floating system. You have taken some tablet, it will be float here in your GIT. That is the stomach. This is the picture of stomach, right? It will be either float here, or it will be expand here and there, or it will be bioadhesive. It might be adhesed in this area, and it will release its drug molecule. Or if it is very high dense, then it will retain at the substance. Or if it is if it is not dense, in that case it will float in the top of the your GIT fluid. Okay, and due to its sustainability here, it will release its drug molecule, and the drug molecule will go here, and it will reach it to the intestine, from where it will be get absorbed. So after discussing gastroretentive, let me tell you about the nasopulmonary. Very popular and very common for various of the your pulmonary related diseases. So this is a pulmonary device. I hope many of you are aware about the diseases like asthma or asthma in our Indian way they call it. So the problem is actually happening in the lung tissues or lung cells. So you have to deliver the drug directly to the lung, not orally. Okay, that's why we have nasopulmonary delivery system. So what we do here, we change some modification, whether make mist or other kinds of very small particles, so that when you take the drug molecule through your nasal cavity, it may automatically come here, and it may reach to your the lung area, and alveoli and other things may absorb that particular drug. Okay, for example, nanoparticle coated drug deposition in the lung, nanoparticle will be there. So what is next? The next is very interesting and very important, called targeted drug delivery. You see, one of the major problem with our present days drug delivery system is the off-target binding, or simple term we call it as side effect. Off-target binding, where your that is a site of action, drug is not going to reach at the site of action. Drug is going here and there because of your very simple or easiest that means called our vascular system. Drug is actually moving around our body, and it is going to bind with all the various proteins that are available. That's a challenge. So that's why nowadays we are focusing on the targeted drug delivery. Means where is our that is drug target is available, that is site of action. Only there our drug will go and bind. It will not go in other parts of the body. So for that, what are the things or what are the technologies we are actually using? We have functionalized nanocarrier or drug loaded nanocarrier. Okay, so for example, you can see carbon nanotube, quantum dot, polymers, gold nanoparticle, or this thing called mesoporous silicon nanoparticle, or you can have micelles, or dendrimer, liposome, or amphiphilic cyclodextrin, or silver nanoparticle. Okay, we are taking the help of these things, and then we are making the functionalized nanoparticle, or in some cases we are actually making the drug loaded nanocarrier. Then we are actually bringing that thing in our body. So what are the stimulation? How it will get released? It will be released because of the temperature, pH, or photoradiation. In some cases, we are also taking the help of this thing called electromagnetic radiation. Okay, due to that it will release it. For example, you can see this is a targeted cell. So when the drug will be reached here in targeted cell only, there it will be get released, because we are actually controlling that thing. But yes, in other cases also we are actually using. So if, as I have told you, nanoparticle, now where it is actually falling. So this is the scale. Every time I always try to teach students with scale, because learning everything in scale is very much easy. So the smallest thing is our, for example, glucose is the smallest. Something is bigger than glucose is some protein. So in this area, 1 to that is a 1000 nanometer scale, our micelles, liposome, dendrimer, gold nanoshell, quantum dot, polymers, and fluorines are actually coming. Okay, in this area. So if something is much more bigger than that, it will be virus and other things. Okay, cells and these things. So you can imagine how much smaller that is a substance we are actually making. If I tell you more, nowadays nanogels are also so much popular. People are still preferring nanogels because they are actually making some nanoparticle and then adding some hydroxy, that is a propyl methyl cellulose, and they are actually making some nanogels. So because of the nanogel, you can see this kinds of ultimate substance will be developed, and then you can see how its picture is. So this is also popular nowadays, or you can also make the nanoparticle. Okay, you can see the picture of the polymer nanoparticle. I will tell you more in detail. Today I am just giving you some glimpses. Now, why we are actually focusing on targeted? What are the differences between the targeted with the conventional? So in targeted drug delivery, the main advantage is the specific location. You have the higher efficacy and low frequency, less side effects, and also the low fluctuation in the circulation or circulating drug level. That means I am talking about this curve. This is the time, and this is the concentration. Okay, low fluctuation. It will be not like this. Okay. In conventional drug delivery, all of you are aware. At the beginning of my lecture, I have told you that the problem is it will equally distribute. You can see in targeted drug delivery, here is my target. Drug is actually localized. It is actually retained in this area, in the targeted area. But in conventional drug delivery, it can go anywhere. There is some concept called BBB, blood-brain barrier. If you discover a new drug molecule, you have to check whether your drug molecule is crossing the blood-brain barrier or not. Otherwise, it will create some problem it will cross the blood-brain barrier, and this drug molecule will create some problem associated with your brain. Okay, so that's why in conventional drug delivery there are lots of issues. Low efficacy, then high frequency, side effects are more, and high fluctuation. Whatever I was trying to tell you, high fluctuation. Okay. So after discussing targeted drug delivery, let me focus in oral drug delivery. Ocular drug delivery system. अच्छा, what is ocular? Can anybody tell me? जब हम ocular कहते हैं, हम किसकी बात करते हैं actually?
Eyes.
Yeah. Anybody?
Sir, eyes.
Yeah, eyes. Okay. Very good. So you can see this is the picture of an eye that you have studied in your school days. So nowadays there are lots of drug delivery systems actually being made just to target the eye related diseases. So you can make some microneedle drug delivery system, it will be implant here. It will be keep here and it will release the drug molecule. Or other kinds of your encapsulated technology, also microsphere and other things are also available, because ultimately you see drug delivery is very easy.
drug delivery is very easy. When you talk in the context of eye, then it has become very difficult, because this is a very sensitive area, and if it may create any kinds of problem, or it may create any kinds of side effect, then it will be very difficult to that is make it correct. So that's why we take so much care. We take so much care in developing the ocular drug delivery system. So that's why the more and more preferences we can be given in this area, and we can make like microneedle or other things, including some iron trophosis you can also make, or this thing called text sensor or punctum plug, or other things are also available in this area. So that's why in ocular drug delivery system you have to be very cautious. After discussing the ocular drug delivery system, now let me focus in the uterine drug delivery system. This is very important. So because in our India especially, you have seen that our population is increasing very rapidly. So to control the population, the various kinds of IUD devices, or we can say uterine devices, these are actually very effective. So these things are actually being placed in the women, and they are actually very effective and convenient for the protection of their reproductive needs. Okay, so it will look like this, and it will be placed in the uterine, and it will prevent the reproductive activities. The pros is that it will be very effective, convenient, and upon removal, fertility will be again restored. Cons is that no protection for STD like diseases, and it may change the menstrual pattern, the menstrual cycle, or some women cannot take estrogen, or that is are actually allergic to the copper. So we are putting these things here, you can see, so that the reproductive activity we can control. Okay, so this is everything about the novel drug delivery system. So all the things in detail from tomorrow I am gonna start and discuss. So controlled release, I have tried to give you a very that is a little glimpses. Tomorrow I will tell you more. Here is a summary of our entire thing, whatever we have learned till the date in your BPharm, and how you can correlate everything. So you have these things, either you have small chemical, peptide, or some nucleotide, siRNA or DNA. These are actually calling it together, you call it as a drug. We need some drug delivery system. You can make macro level, micro level, or nano level, that is a system. You need some route, that is delivery route. Either you can give ocular, nasal, oral, pulmonary, transdermal, or parenteral, whatever the route you actually rise. So the thing, whatever you have actually made, macro, nano, or micro. So to make all those things, you need, if you make the control release, you need the polymers or some other smart material. Okay, delivery materials. So you need these things. By using these things you are making. How it will release, how this molecule will be released. It might be released through diffusion or dissolution or ion exchange or osmosis. Okay, then it will be, after releasing, then it will be show its kinetics. We call it as a ADME. Okay, so it will that is there will be some mode, how it is actually show its kinetics, or its duration, for how long time. Okay, here I have written in detail the thermokinetics. So that is there is also something called IVIBC, in vitro in vivo correlation. If you are if it is in delivery stage, if it is in developing stage, then you have to correlate the IVIBC, in vitro in vivo correlation. That means you have to do some in vitro test, then you have to do some in vivo test, and then you have to correlate. Okay, so in that case you can take some help of some animal experiment, biodistribution or target you have to do, and if it is successful, then you have to do in clinical studies, in clinical application. Then it will come to the market, and then whatever the things I have mentioned you here, all the things will be followed after successful in these things. So that's it from my side on today. Thank you all of you for joining today's lecture. My Facebook page is Avijit Sir. You can join on my page, and keep learning, keep shining. And the video is actually I have recorded whatever I am teaching you today. I will upload this video on my YouTube channel, including also in my website. Let me show you the previous lectures. I also already have shared. Yeah, if you just visit my website, for example, you have to go google.com, or either you can directly write so if you search Google Abhijit sir, you'll be automatically getting my website. It is opening biotechnology. Let me go to the home page. So theob.in, this is my website. If you come here, go to pharma. Yesterday I have made everything as I am teaching you NDDS, so I have made another that is column NDDS. I will make it correct. So after you open this NDDS in unit 1, as we are actually teaching unit 1, so introduction to NDDS, and then this is the video of our previous lecture, okay, and another lecture I have taken on your this thing called syllabus, okay, everything is present here.